And we've been joined by Coach Dana Holgorsen of Houston. Houston was in action last night at Oklahoma. Oklahoma won the game 49-30. Up next for the Cougars, they'll play their home opener this Saturday against Prairie View A&M at TDPCU Stadium. That will be at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN. So thanks so much for joining us on the call, particularly right after a game. If you would just give us your thoughts on the opener against Oklahoma, please. You would do an open at home on Saturday against Prairie View.
Well, it is obviously a challenging opener. We just got back a couple hours ago, so I know I sound a little groggy, but, it was just, that's a heck of a place now. I mean, I've went up against those guys for a long time, and their product keeps getting better. The atmosphere is fantastic. The coaching stability that they have, especially on the offensive side, is as good as there is in college football. We had a hard time tackling those guys, and offensively we started slow. They had a lot of energy early in the game. Obviously, year one, and for that coordinator, Coach Grinch, game one for 2019, and it appeared like they remembered the 2016 game when Oklahoma came to NRG Stadium and lost to the University of Houston. So those guys were motivated to play, and I was just proud of our guys for the way they settled in and just kept playing. They were ready to play, and things didn't go well early, but they just kept playing for 4 quarters and looked up there in the fourth quarter, and we're down 11 and we're onside kicking. So I was just proud of the way that they hung in there and kept playing.
We'll take questions now for Coach Holgorsen. Hit star 1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue, and the operator will introduce you.
We now move on to our next question from Sheehan Jeharaja of TexasFootball.com. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Coach. When you play against, a top 5 team like Oklahoma, one of these programs that Houston is trying to be like, is there anything especially that you want your players to take away from this experience?
Well, not just our players, but everybody involved: players, coaches, administrators, fan base, that sort of thing. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, and I think everybody understands that. I mean, we're talking, Oklahoma's won a whole bunch of national championships, so they got top-notch facilities and really good tradition, that sort of thing. But we're going up against another top 15 team here in 2 weeks. I mean, it's how the University of Houston schedules. Washington State will be coming to town. By no means are we going to overlook Prairie View. We got a million things that we need to work on and correct. But everybody needs to understand that's a top 5 team that's been in the CFP for 3 out of the last 4 years, and we want to get there. There's no question. It's just going to take a lot of time to be able to get there.
And another question. When you have a booster like Tillman Fertitta in your program, how much does that help just in terms of growth and direction?
Well, he's, as the chairman of the Board of Regents, I mean, he's heavily involved with everything that we do here at the University of Houston. So, he knows a thing or two about building an organization. He knows a thing or two about building a sports franchise. So his expertise and his knowledge is awesome. We got great leadership at the University of Houston. Renew Couture has been here for going on 11, 12 years and has brought great stability to this university. And, the amount of things that she's accomplished in her relatively short time is very impressive as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
And do you have other questions for Coach Holgorsen, please? Star 1 on your telephone keypad, if so. Before I let you go, just let me ask you if we do have a question, if you would. We'll go to the next one.
We'll now take our next question from Joseph Duarte of Houston Chronicle. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, good morning, Dana.
Good morning.
I was just curious, as you move forward in week 2 and the things that you want to correct, is there a difference in terms of things that you maybe didn't do well against Oklahoma that you maybe wouldn't necessarily make? I hope this makes sense. That you normally maybe don't make against a team that's not of that caliber. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is you're not going to face a team really as good as them, or probably as good as them the rest of the season, most likely. So those mistakes that you make last night, maybe not as prominent against, say, another team, or in terms of how you move forward and what you need to correct.
Yeah, I think I understand your question. We don't view it in terms of who our opponent is, so to speak, until after we play them. I mean, I think things need to play out. Clearly, Oklahoma's a top 5 team, and has a chance to line up and win every game that they play. We'll take the next opponent, Prairie View, and we'll treat them the same way. There's no difference in how we approach each and every game. Like I said a minute ago, we got a top 15 team coming to Houston in 2 weeks. So every game's hard and every game's challenging. Probably the biggest challenge we have on this week is we're on a short week. After game 1. What everybody says as far as game 1 to game 2 to game 3, you make your most improvements. That's true. So we got a lot of work to do, and we got one less day to do it. Players are off today, and we got to, so we're a day short, and we're going to have to take advantage of the amount of time that we have. But as far as who the opponent is, Joseph, we don't talk about that. We talk about improving each week and trying to get one win a week.
And then in terms of personnel and kind of what you rolled out for the first game, it looks like it'll change possibly week to week. On the defensive side, at safety, I think you went with Gregarious at safety over Gleason. Was that just kind of what you saw in camp, or was that just kind of matchups, or can you kind of elaborate on starting Owens, at that one of those safety spots?
Well, that's one of about 26 spots that are competitive. We want each and every spot to be competitive. And those will change every week. I mean, we're going to assess the personnel here, and I've watched the video, but I don't have the totality of the snaps, and I'm anxious to get that. But just as far as how much everybody played, and that'd change week to week. This is a performance-driven sport, and so we thought G. Owens had a really good camp. He's a younger guy that's long and can run, and we thought he deserved the start. After we evaluate this film, we have 3 practices, or 2 practices and kind of a halfway practice, and we may change our mind and start somebody else this Saturday. So our guys know that. I mean, it's early in the year, and we're gonna assess how they're doing, and we're gonna play the guys we feel like are ready to play. But even if you don't start, he started over Sprewell, but Sprewell went in there and played a bunch. I mean, starters start, and backups usually play a lot based on what the competition is.
Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, thanks so much for giving us a few minutes this morning. Look forward to talking to you once again next Monday.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. Coach Dana Holgorsen from Houston. Again, the Cougars in action Saturday against Prairie View A&M.